Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 21. And may I say, wow, it has been a long time since I played this game. I built a very large backlog, and it. I'm recording this episode the Tuesday before I upload new videos. So this is going to be in about 2 weeks' time. But it's nice to be playing the game live again. Um, what happened last season, I genuinely don't remember. I think we won the World Series again, but I don't even remember. Is that terrible? That seems terrible. But it's been so long since I played. Ah, yes, our second title. Glorious. Right, it's off-season time. What happened that was good last season, besides Jack Leiter? Adley Rutschman. Look at this campaign. Just look at it. Breathe it in. Rutschman had been treading the opposite direction for a bit, but all of a sudden, at the tender age of 29, he's like, oh yeah, I should be hitting more baseballs. And he started hitting more baseballs. And it was great. Daniel Cabrera did it again. Another fantastic season. I love everything about it. Luis Garcia had a very, very fine season. I remember worrying all of 2026 that he was a wasted investment, and now it seems like he's a reasonable investment, which I quite like. Austin Hendrick. This is the first time I think that our right fielder put together 2 good years in a row. Although it take him a while to get there. Hitting 46 homers causes people to forgive a lot of other sins. The center field problem is still not resolved. I mean, Tim Towell was fine. Bobby Witt Jr. is looking like he might be a bust. And I feel terrible saying that, but this dude is just... he can't hit, which is a real shame. And maybe I'm to blame for keeping him in the minors for so long, but I don't think I am. That's okay, though. Judson Fabian didn't play very much, but when he did, he was pretty solid. And then other players were less effective. But we'll pretend I didn't say that part. Pitching. Jack Leiter, it must be absolutely exhausting to be all this awesome all the time. You led the league in ERA, again. Starts, again. Innings pitched, again. Strikeouts, again. Whip, again. Everything again. And did I mention that you were even better than you were last season? I mean, if not for some jackass winning more games than you, who was it? Who is the traitor on his own team? Noah Syndergaard. How could you? Oh well, that's fine. I'm really not that fussed about it. I am quite certain that Senor Leiter here is going to be making... I think he's going to be winning another Cy Young Award. I had the sneaking suspicion, but I think it's going to turn out to be the correct suspicion. And the rest of the pitching staff ranged from pretty good to a little underwhelming. A lot of the problem was, of course, the injury to Noah Syndergaard. Like, Oscar Pierrette was fine. He certainly wasn't amazing, but he wasn't terrible either. His contract is going to get expensive. We're going to have to think about saving some costs in a few different places, but, you know, we'll figure it out. Caleb Ferguson, you may recall we traded for from the Cubs. He was part of the Emerson Hancock deal, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And that was all about getting rid of Hancock's disgusting contract. So, sorry, Cubs. But Emerson Hancock would be legendarily stupid to opt out of this contract. Because no one is going to pay him $20 million a year. He'd be an idiot to opt out. So I think, even though it arguably hurt us in the short term, that's going to be good long term. So, we have about $20 million. I really love to see this market size take a bump. We won the World Series. I think a $1 raise is more than acceptable. Look at Noah Syndergaard. Daniel Corona Jr., I forgot about you. You are a damn fine player. How did he not show up in the top war? Or did I just skip over him like a jerk? I did skip over him like a jerk. Sorry, Daniel. Very impressed by you. Very, very impressed by you. You are an outstanding shortstop that hits well enough that you can carry your glove. And that's really all I ask from a talented player. And you've got a fair chance of winning a Gold Glove, maybe. So what are our weaknesses? Third base, center field, and arguably designated hitter. But I'm not sure about that. We're going to have to do some soul searching and figure out how we can upgrade this team. Because we always want to keep upgrading, right? We always need to keep upgrading. You can never assume that our opponents will stand pat, and we certainly won't. Now, do we have any minor leaguers? Please don't go out, Power. Okay. We've got to make a decision on Andy Neal. And unfortunately for him, I still think he's at least a year away. He pitched pretty doggone poorly, although his FIP numbers suggest he's actually a little bit better than that. Am I going to add him to the 40-man? No question. I'm not giving him away for nothing. But he's also maybe not the solution to the problem. Kieran Dongo is a very intriguing player who's also probably going to be added to the 40-man. I've got spots, goodness knows. But as far as minor leaguers helping next season, there's not a lot. Which is unfortunate, but it happens to be the truth. How was your first season? Pretty good. Let us kick you up to A-ball and let you see how you handle that. Alright, Senor Clatamas. Oh, you did very well in low A. Full A for you, my friend. I don't know if they've already converted him to a reliever, but unless a third pitch shows up, I don't disagree with the assessment that he is a reliever in the future. Mr. Hirschbauer. You know what? I can give you promotion to at least high A. I can push you a little bit. Lownson just got promoted. Nicholson. I'm going to push you to high A. Lomelli, sorry. My dude, you really, really struggled in low A. I see no reason to promote you. And then Josh Roberts is okay. I'll promote him. But why are you primarily a pitcher? Is that actually what I wanted? Did I want you to be a pitcher? I don't think I did. Like, you didn't hit well, but you didn't hit badly either. Maybe at some point I'm just going to have you abandon being a hitter. No, you're actually not that great a pitcher. Let's have you keep working on playing first base. And I will leave you an A-ball again. I will happily do that. Dozier, you're 24, so I'm going to give you a promotion, understanding that you're not going to be in a position to be all that helpful this season. Tim Stack, I don't know, bro. I mean, it looks like bad defense was somewhat to blame, but you're just not. I think repeating... Let's have you repeat Double A, actually. Because you did a lot better in High A. Maybe just more time at Double A will help season you a bit. Nate Gould. You didn't really play much in High A. But I also think you're ready for Double A. So I'm going to promote you anyway. And then there was no one in Double A, which I needed to pay particular attention to. So we've got some potential here. But Neil in particular, I just don't see him as being ready this season. Now, maybe it'll change during the offseason and he'll develop a bit more control. Like, he's right on the knife's edge of being at the back end of the rotation and maybe something more. I love his changeup. Real good fastball. Pretty good curveball. Good movement, which we know is essential for pitchers in my system. And very good stuff. All things that we look for in a great pitcher. But the walks need to come down. And so, yeah. Kieran Dongo, you might honestly have more raw power than anyone besides Calvert Clark. You're not a very good center fielder, but there's no rush, right? I need to add you to the 40-man, obviously, but there's no rush to promote you. You're only 22. Like, and you went from high A to triple A, and maybe you didn't dominate, but you played ridiculously well. That is a massive jump in terms of competition level. And you continue to play very, very well. So I think you just need some seasoning, and then you're going to be pushing a DH at some point. Ryan Mountcastle was possibly the biggest disappointment. I'm really tired of finding Legos. Oh, well, that makes me feel better. That's actually a... What is that, a Frito? It is a Frito that I just stepped on. So, that mystery is solved. I hope you can all sleep tonight knowing that that has been indeed resolved. Right, yeah, so there's no question that I'm going to add all three of these fellows to the roster. I think Max Meyer is gone. But, excuse me, salary arbitration time. I would like to offer Clay Fisher a minor league extension, if he'll take it. And let's also offer one to Gavin Cash. Let's make the easy decisions first. I'm not giving you a major league contract. If you want a minor league one, great, but you're not getting a major league one. Now, Emmanuel Vizcaíno has had his ups and downs. But I see little reason to not offer him what he's asking for. So let's just get it done. Let's just offer him his arbitration estimate. There we go. Let's not let it go to the arbitrators. I will happily hand him a contract. Mr. Tawa, I have offered you a contract, have I not? Yeah, that's right. I offered you a really cheap one because worst case scenario, you're going to be the best fourth outfielder in baseball. Ian Moeller. Where did you mostly play this season? You only played 30 games at catcher. I cannot offer you $3 million. I can't. It is deep set within my soul that I cannot offer a backup catcher that much money. I'm going to try to trade you. I'm going to see what I can get. Any prospect at any position. I'm just going to see what the baseball gods offer me. They're offering me some pretty talented pitchers. Which I gotta say, I don't hate. I don't hate that at all. Alright. So let's start looking at Alex Santos. No. Did you see it, by the way? I'll show you again in case you missed it. No. I don't care how good a pitcher he is. I am not putting an extreme fly ball pitcher in my park. Thanks for playing, but no. Hell no. Possibly. Very possibly. I'm going to come back. Gregory Garcia is first on my list, though. Victor Espinosa is meh. Danny Mendez is just a worse version of Quirinadongo. I don't need a shortstop, and he's not that good. Johnny Kavanaugh is a very raw pitcher whose upside is meh. Like, if his changeup develops, he's going to be like a back of the rotation type of pitcher. So that's got value. Swinford. Oh, Swinford. Oh. You can't do this to me, game. I know that I'm... You know what? Let's get a scouting report on him. Swinford might be the guy, though. He might be the guy. Raul, no. Farrington, no. Brendan Pacheco. You're borderline, my dude. Let's get a scouting report on you, too. Bobby Hakeem. I doubt it. I'm just trying to reduce the numbers right now. Something that makes sense. No, movement's not quite good enough. If I needed a second baseman, this would be a damn tempting offer, but I think I have to pass. Oh, game. Where have you been all my life? Oh my. Scouting report, please. You're a little bit less intriguing to me. I'm gonna need a new first baseman at some point. So this has some value to it too. And then you would be, if I didn't have so many other interesting choices, I would consider Sadler or Stadler, excuse me. Oh, that's center fielder though. Where are you, my dude? Jose Vasquez. I love everything about you. You're a good center fielder, great contact that could get even better, possibly decent level power. Are you fast too? You're not like blazingly speedy, but you're pretty darn good. So I'm not going to keep Moeller, but we're going to see what I can get on offer. And then Bobby Witt. All you want is your arbitration estimate. So you can have it. I would like to bring Kyle Dowie back, but he probably wants a lot of money that I'm not willing to pay. I'm also not submitting, by the way, $15 million qualifying offer. That's just not happening. Caleb Ferguson, you know what? I'm not bothered by bringing you back. I can always pick someone else. Now let's sim ahead a week. And let's see what some of these scouting reports tell me. Because I want to trade Moeller before arbitration happens. And then I'll just assign like some junky catcher off of free agency. Did I get any? I did not. Not yet, anyway. I don't remember this trade. Oh, that would have been hilarious. I almost traded for my own guy. The one I was like, yeah, that guy's not good enough. All right, good. Clay Fisher came back, and so did Gavin Cash. Gene Swinford. So we already see that his evaluation has taken a bit of a dip. Go see him again. Jeremy Logue. One more time, please. Hey, the fans apparently like Bobby Witt Jr. Okay, I have high confidence that Vasquez is what he claims to be. Apart from his first year in the minors, he's never hit lower than 280. He destroyed AA. And he fills a giant need on this team. I would like to trade for this player. I'd like to offer you Ian Moeller. And I'm going to try to get some more out of you too. Wow, that is an interesting player. Would you give him to me? No, it's an insult. That's, you know what, that's fine. I am not unduly shocked. No. Nope. Maybe? No. Okay. Joe Napier. Were you one of the guys I was looking at to draft? I'd take a stab at Joe Napier if you'd like to turn him over to me. Not very good. How about Cesar Becerra? No. Man, you are really putting the screws to me, my dude. I like Chris White as a catcher. As a first baseman, I'm ambivalent, but as a catcher, what do you say? No. Fine. You know what? Maybe I should just take this one-up trade. Like, I'm not getting great value from Moeller, but upgrading at center field is such a priority this offseason that I see no reason not to pull this trigger. Apparently the fans really liked Ian Moeller. Well, the fans can kiss my ass. I'm sorry, that wasn't a nice thing for me to say. But it doesn't make it any less true. I just won the bloody World Series. I think I've earned your respect. Brandon Hendricks coming back is a low-key major upgrade to the rotation. That's going to be a lovely thing to have on our radar. Scouting. I would like you to stop scouting these players. I think you will be pleasantly surprised, Baltimore Orioles, by what it's like to have a really good center fielder, which then lets me shift Tawa to something a bit less exposed. Like, I think Tawa is a really great fourth outfielder who can fill in at a corner and not embarrass us, but as a center fielder who is kind of stretched. And we just need more players that can get on base really, really well. So I'm glad about that. I love Daniel Cabrera so much. I'm hoping we get at least a bit of a bounce back campaign from Mountcastle. I think that's going to be essential to our success. Because let's face it, I don't have a lot in the way of a decent first baseman. I mean, I could basically shove Calvert Clark at first base and tell him to figure it out, but I don't think that's going to go very well. But most importantly, do I get another Manager of the Year award? I did win the World Series. That better count for something. It apparently didn't. Yikes. I did get 3 Silver Sluggers. And Jack Leiter was the unanimous Cy Young winner. Again. Alright, what jerk took my trophy? John Russell. Yes, John Russell won 112 games. Did he win the World Series? My friend, he did not. It's my bloody award. It's fine. It's fine. I'll make you pay, though. Oh, how they'll pay. How they'll all pay. I wonder if Jack Leiter might get the MVP. No, Yordan Alvarez, look. Okay, you hit 69 homers. Nice. But, dude. Yeah, okay. Can we appreciate the ridiculous number of home runs he's already hit in his career? He's been in the majors less than 10 seasons and has 454 homers. Like, that's stupidly good. I want Jordan Alvarez. Oh well. Yeah, I think it's just going to be impossible for us to have a serious chance at, is that the, no, 190 is the all-time home run record or all-time RBI record. I can just go anywhere I want to. That's not the issue. The issue is, okay, I dealt with it. Good. Ooh, Shane Bieber. All right, so let's say for the moment that we have solved the center field situation. What else do we need? We need more in the rotation. I think that kind of goes without saying. We need a bit more in the bullpen. And I'd really like a bit more consistency in the offense. But not so much that I am going to spend a lot of money on it. I think really bullpen needs to be our target area. And maybe picking up a good quality backup catcher. So let's kick the tires on some people. I mean, Nick Anderson, for the low price of $5 million, is not coming anywhere near this park. Not with that movement, he's not. James Karinchak, no. Wyatt Mills, maybe. Ooh, an extreme ground ball pitcher. That would be a lovely addition to our bullpen. I'll tell you what, my dude. I want to make sure that you're worth the money. So how about we go to 3 years? My old buddy Zach Pop is there. I like that a lot. And let's look at catchers. I don't need a good catcher. I need an average catcher. I need someone who's a really good catcher and who can take pressure off of him play. My old buddy Ali Sanchez. Remember him? I remember you. But I did say I wouldn't pay $3 million a year for a backup catcher, didn't I? And Sean Murphy is just cheaper. How about 3 years, 2 team options? What do you say, Shauno? What do you say? Yes, let us activate these 2 fellows. When we get closer to the end of spring training, I might look and see if there's a cheap starter available. What's our salary situation looking like next year? I wouldn't mind signing a longer deal with Corona Jr. or Hendricks. Hendrick, my dude, maybe. But the thing is, I don't have any big salary coming off the books. That's the issue. Because I don't think Daniel Corona is going to take a pay cut. He is being surprisingly reasonable, actually. maybe this wouldn't be a bad deal. Let's analyze this deal before I make it. All right. He is a good contact hitter with good gap power and a very good glove at shortstop. He's not great at getting on base, but he's not bad at it either. But I mean, he didn't even win a Gold Glove this year. I just don't know. Can I afford to spend that much money on one player who isn't like the top of the game? What does Hendricks want? Hendricks wants a 1-year deal. I will talk to him at the end of the season then. Austin Hendrick. I've been burned on outfielders too many times. I am not giving him a big contract. I'm just not. I don't want to lose Daniel Corona. And he's 24. And he's likely only going to get better. All of this is undeniable. He is also a glove first shortstop who can hit but not always at an elite level. And his minor league track record isn't that consistent. Is a league average shortstop who plays pretty good defense and runs the bases intelligently worth $19 million a year? I don't think he is. I don't think the Daniel Corona that I'm seeing right now is worth that much money. It's $5 million a win, which is a pretty bad ratio. So I think we wait. But not forever. I didn't get a better third baseman, which is true. We'll have to see what happens with a second full season, though. I mean, I have nothing better. And if I have to punt on any one player, I don't mind punting on Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, he was still helped us win the World Series in 2025, so it's not like it's going to bankrupt us. Let's go up to Hall of Fame voting. A trade proposal. You will give me an okay reliever for a potentially decent catcher and an outfielder that sucks. I'll think about it. If I don't get the reliever that I offered a contract to, I will come back to that. Oh, too late. What a shame. Alright, Hall of Famers. Carlos Beltran. Charlie Blackmon. Meh. Ryan Braun. If I can't find someone better, I'll think about it. Cano, without a question. Bartolo Colon, yes. Edwin Encarnacion did finish with almost 500 homers, but the rest of his offensive. Let me see who else is available, and then maybe I'll come back to. I gotta go for Todd Helton. He either gets in this year or not at all. Felix Hernandez, definitely Tim Hudson. John Lester, yeah, okay. Mauer, Molina, Ichiro. I'm going to drop John Lester to add Joey Votto. Andy Pettitte, I think you probably do deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not 100% committed to that in the back of my head, but I also don't think you're getting in. You only got 12%. But you're better than Felix Hernandez, so I will give you a bone. It's just not likely to accomplish much. Submit ballot. Okay. I'm just not sure what to do. I am not sure what to do about Corona Jr. Oh, Wyatt Mills signed a contract. That's quite lovely. And the best part is, if he sucks, then I can live with that. Can live with that. I'm gonna try to waive Max Meyer, maybe. No, I don't need the 40-man spot just yet. Just yet, I don't need it. I do think the biggest deal we made this offseason, though, is going to be trading for the center fielder. I don't think there's any question of that. I've got 7 spots on the 40-man. It's going to go to Neil, Herrera. Oh, dear. Kirandonga, what's going on? Oh, nothing's going on. I just didn't have it set to my scout. Oh, are there like coaches that I should be signing that I forgot about? There sure are. Yikes. Hope all the good coaches aren't gone. I would like GM ratings, and again, I want someone who's great at development. Nathan, I like you, and you're cheap. Welcome aboard. I need a AAA manager. Please give me coach tendencies. I want a great reputation and good development influence. Lee Tinsley, welcome aboard as the manager of the AAA Norfolk Tides. A coaching of pitching variety. Joel Hanrahan sounds like a wonderful choice. We can pick Luis Urena in AA. My man Andrew Romine can be my AA hitting coach. Short season A. Jeff Branson. It's the kind of hitting coach you don't mind having. Pitching coach here. Let's take a flyer on Carlos Chantres. Here, oh, Dionis Pascual really wants to pitch in the Dominican Summer League, and I'm not going to tell him he can't. Manny Amador, why not? Scott Erickson used to pitch for the Orioles. We can have him aboard. Edgardo Alfonso. Sure. There we go. Coaching offers have been made. Anyone else we want to put on the 40-man? Kieran Dongo, I think yes. Benedict, I think no. Santoya, yes. Oh, he's already on the 40-man. Brilliant. No one else in the high minors, really. Maybe Tejada. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm good with keeping 4 open spots on the 40-man. Got my assistant GM. Nice. Nice. I'm drinking my lemonade. Really? Caden Matheny got picked up? Huh. Well, you know what, Toronto? Use him in good health. Oh, man. I'm a little bummed about Gavin Cash. I was hoping I could stash him in AAA for one more season, but whatevs. I could grab Luke Heyman. Like, he fills a need. He's not going to cost me much, and he's still got a decent level of... He's still got a decent level of upside on him. I'd rather have Sean Murphy, though. To be blunt. Yeah, if someone takes Eric Benedict off my hands, they take Eric Benedict. I don't really feel too bummed out by that. David Romero? Maybe. So many of his pitches are bad, though. Like, only his fastball is decent, and his forkball is a ways from being decent. I'm just gonna complete this draft. I don't care about anyone here. And I lost some guy named Robert Moore. He was arguably pretty good. Potentially. That was kind of a yikes. We kind of got burned a little bit. Good. How long did you actually pitch for Scott Air? How long did you pitch for the Orioles IRL? I don't have the button to look at his career. That's silly. Huh. This is a different Scott Erickson, but I don't think it is. Yeah, there's no button for his player profile. Interesting. Is there more than one Scott Erickson? Oh no, it is the same guy. I just weirdly have to do extra work to find him. Yeah, there you go. He pitched for Baltimore for quite a few years. I never said he was good. I just said he pitched for Baltimore. It's much better for the Twins. The Twins' rotations of the early 2000s were surprisingly good. I remember Brad Radke and his ridiculous changeup that no one could ever seem to hit. I like that guy. Hey, the fans are super pleased about getting Scott Murphy or Sean Murphy or Murphy McMurphyson. So fantastic. And Edgardo Alfonso, who did you play for again? There used to be a button you could click on. It would take you instantly to their player profile. I want to say... I know you played for the Mets. And I want to say you played for Seattle for a bit, too. It's like me reliving my childhood. Oh, you never did play for Seattle, huh? He was a surprisingly good second baseman. Not for very long, but he was a surprisingly good second baseman. One of the many, many teams who tried to win Barry Bonds a world championship, which never ended up happening. Did it? I don't think it ever did. Let me look. Did Barry Bonds ever win the World Series? I don't think he did. Because I think the Giants won for the first time in like 2009 or 2010 with Tim Lincecum and Madison Bumgarner. The Giants won the World Series. Holy shit, I remember 2010. But was I right about the pitchers too? Yes, damn. I am no shit impressed by my baseball memory sometimes. Damn. So yeah, Barry Bonds missed it by a couple of years. The Giants had a damn good rotation for a while. But apart from Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent and a couple of other players, they just couldn't hit. It's kind of like the Angels are now, if you think about it. Although signing Anthony Rendon is going to be a big shot in the arm for them. I mean, it's a shortened season this year, so who actually knows how good the Angels are going to do? But it at least shows that they're trying. It shows that they're trying. I am pleased. Who made the Hall of Fame? Ichiro. Oh, come on. This is a real tragedy. And it really bums me out because a lot like Larry Walker, Todd Helton is kind of victimized by Coors Field, where everyone assumes that Todd Helton was great because he played in Coors. And that helped, but it turns out he was just a pretty damn good baseball player that happened to play in Coors Field. I mean, you can say all you want that Coors Field inflated his power numbers, and it certainly did. It doesn't explain a guy that got over 100 walks multiple times, or that hit for consistently high average, or who... Can I get that level of splits in here? I might not be able to. No, they don't offer that level of splits. What a shame. I was going to show you guys the home versus... You know, maybe I can do it here? batting splits. Road. Are you saying he never hit on the road? You know what? I wonder if it doesn't keep home road splits for historical players. Yeah, it didn't keep left-right splits, so I guess... I'd have to look up his stats, but if I remember right, he was helped a decent bit by Coors Field, but he's also very formidable on the road, too. Anyway, I'm not saying, like, it's an egregious omission and that people should feel bad if they don't vote for him, but to me it seems obvious that Todd Helton deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Especially with Harold Baines going in a couple of years ago, which still makes you feel kind of icky because Harold Baines is just meh. It's hard to argue that he's an exceptional baseball player. But he seems like a nice guy. And that counts for a surprisingly large amount. It's a big reason why Dick Allen's not in the Hall of Fame, because people didn't like him. But I digress. Any interesting things here? Cano will probably get in. IRL too, but in the game certainly. Greinke maybe. I'm really curious to see how pitchers are evaluated going forward. Because I'm going to go on record saying we'll never see a 300 game winner again. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's reasonable. Even one like Jack Leiter in this game is not on pace to win 300 games. I just don't think it's ever going to happen again. You basically have to average 15 wins a season for 20 seasons. Or 20 wins a season for 15 seasons. And those numbers just aren't possible anymore. They're not possible in the modern pitching environment. And I'm not saying that makes modern pitchers bad. Far from it. Very far from it. What I'm saying is, though, I don't know how Hall of Fame voters who traditionally place a great deal of stock in counting stats like hits and home runs and pitcher wins are going to look at the pitchers of the early 21st century and judge them. And it's a really good question that I don't have an easy answer to. As crazy as it might have seemed in the past, I think Bartolo Colon is approaching the point where he's just got so many counting numbers that he's borderline for the Hall of Fame now. Which, fair play to him. I'm obviously a Cleveland Indians fan. I always have been. Or whatever the Cleveland baseball team ends up being called in the future. And he had a remarkable career with Cleveland. But I think why everyone loves him is the comeback story. Like, his 2014 is arguably as good as some of his better years in Cleveland. And that's saying a lot. His 2013 was fantastic. He just starts pitching really well again at an age where most pitchers are just retired. It's borderline stupid. I think Yadier Molina is, because of the way voters look at things, I think he's a lock. Why? Because the dude won a bunch of Gold Gloves. And even if Gold Gloves don't always go to the most deserving players, I think there's a sense that he is just that good defensively, and that there's just enough evidence that his reputation precedes him, that I think Yadier Molina's got a decent shot. Probably better than he actually deserves, to be honest with you. I apologize if you're a Cardinals fan. That's just how I feel. To make it in the Hall of Fame. Because you look at his hitting stats, he's nothing special. He's a hitter. He's a catcher who managed it for an okay average. Barely ever drew a walk. And didn't hit for lots of power. He was barely above average his career as a hitter. And that's why it's deeply problematic to me that he's considered like a no-doubt Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he's not deserving, but he's kind of the Omar Vizquel of catchers, but without the durability and the long career, which is not his fault because he was a catcher. But I don't know. Like I said, I would not lose any sleep if Yadier Molina made it into the Hall of Fame. I just don't think he's a particularly good representative of catchers. But c'est la vie. I got badly sidetracked, but I think that's part of the reason that you guys watch these videos. How much money did you get? You got a shit ton of money. And you know what? Fair play to you, brother. You're going to be a starter? Oh, my dude. Oh, that's such a bad idea. That is such a bad idea. If I were Kyle Dowie, I would not have asked to be a starter. I'm going to shortlist you. Because I've got a feeling you're going to do badly. And I want to be there for the schadenfreude. Because you don't have the control to be a starter. You don't. You also don't have the stamina to be a starter. But the control's the bigger issue. You're going to walk people a lot. And I don't think you've made a good choice there, Chicago Cubs. I think that deal's going to bite you on the butt. But it is only 1 year. So Syndergaard's going to miss another 3 months. That's not ideal, but he might still be ready for opening day. How much money do I have left? I have $2 million for extensions. Yeah. Let's go up to spring training start. Excuse me. Now that I just coughed, let me apologize. I was watching a video at work, and this guy just kept coughing the whole time. And people used to mention this to me on my videos like 2 or 3 years ago. I thought they were just being unpleasant, but it turns out that is really annoying when people are coughing a lot during the video. So I apologize if I was coughing a lot in an earlier video and it bothered your ears. It really does matter. Nothing that big there, but I guess it's kind of neat to see Ben French, huh? Like, my dude, you are the most marginal of marginal prospects. But you've got an awesome nickname. Ben Megavolt French. And I'm going to be rooting for you. Who knows, right? Who knows? Ooh, Boston signed Aaron Judge. That'll make Yankees fans mad. Some people got promoted. Aren't you? Yeah, you're that Australian kid. Oof. Wow, you certainly did not turn out, did you? Yikes. I mean, granted, I didn't really give him any money, but still. Ugh. Alright, who do we want up for spring training? Anyone special? Not really. I just don't have a lot of players that I want to give a major league shot to this season. Let us allow the bench coach to earn his pay. Definitely 6-man rotation. You want to give lots of people innings and just see how they turn out. Lineups. Bench coach. Do all of the lineups, please. You really want to play Vanderploeg over Vasquez? I mean, I guess. He seems like a pretty cool dude, and he's got a pretty awesome name. But on the other hand, Vasquez is arguably better at everything. But, you know. I mean, he's not playing to start the season. Let's make that clear. And let us advance to the beginning of March. Mikey Vanderploeg. I mean, hey, I could give him a shot out of spring training. I'm not married to anybody. But I just think the kind of player we need is someone that gets on base a lot more than he might. I don't know. We'll give it some thought. Andre Tavares is a good movement pitcher who's bad at everything else, which is not great. And you're asking for a pitcher who's also not great, but I'm still going to say no. I do want a left-hander of some description in the bullpen, though, so I'm going to have to scour free agency or even the high minors. Wow, only 1 for 1 and 3? Oh, it goes to show you. What does that mean, you ask? Whatever I want it to mean. Andy, you're getting good in a lot of good areas, but you're not getting good at the important area, which is control. Like, let me make this clear to you, dear sir. You are not starting in the major leagues if your control isn't at least a 45. And even then, I don't love it, but I'll accept it. Bob Solis, bit of improvement. Zachariah Bernotti is really putting on some heat. That could be interesting. I did not look at injury proneness for the 2 players I got, but on the other hand, I also don't care. Because none of them are going to play a huge role in the team. Sprained ankle for Daniel Corona Jr. Poor guy. That's a little more annoying. You're going to miss opening day, and I don't approve of that. But I guess my approval doesn't really count for much, does it? I wonder, just out of curiosity, can I get Noah Syndergaard to sign up for like another 2 or 3 years for super cheap? He wants a bit of a raise now. He's pricing himself out of my price range. Just because we're still a small market. Which I do find irritating, but there's also nothing I can do about it. I love how in every OOTP I've ever played, Columbus ends up getting a professional baseball team. And the actual chances of Columbus getting a pro baseball team are extremely low. Because the Reds and the Indians would never stand for it. And I don't think Columbus is a big enough media market to support a team without people from Cleveland or Cincinnati. That's just me, though. I'm not an expert on demographics, but I think it's ill-advised. Anyone who tries to predict that, you're likely to be wrong. Likely extremely wrong. So let's start with the easy decisions, and let's put you on the DL. And you on the DL. Herrera, you are a lefty. Are there any other lefties in the bullpen? There is Luke Little, who, while he isn't perfect, he is, I think, what we need at the moment. So that way I can let Herrera have a full season in AAA to practice his craft, improve his control, and continue to develop as a pitcher. Andy Neal, my dude, you got better at a lot of key areas, but not the key area, which is control. I need you to throw strikes. So until that happens, get in the minors. Of the remaining choices, I do need to name a starter. I'll figure that out in a minute. I could go 4-man rotation if I needed to for a short time, but that's probably not smart. I'm also not enthused about Kabarkis being a starting pitcher. Yikes. But I also don't have anybody else that's clearly better in the minors, so maybe I'll just have to go through the pitchers I do have. Casey Schmidt. Every year I think about giving you a bigger role, and every year you don't really earn it. How many pitchers do I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of only... I can actually keep all these pitchers. Like, is there any reason I'm desperately opposed to keeping Casey Schmidt around? Not really. Alright. Let's put the offense together, and then we can think about next steps. Jose Santoya. You have never played an inning of AAA baseball in your life. That is, as we say, problematic. So let's send you to the minors and let's get you playing in AAA with an expectation of calling you up sometime this season. I don't need 2 backup third basemen. Delgado plays second, third, and short. Perez plays second, third, and short. Delgado hits for contact. Perez can draw a walk or 2. Oh, no, wait. I just compared Perez to Perez. Yikes. Delgado is an outstanding third baseman who barely plays shortstop. So I'm going to pass on that. I'm going to make that call. Owen Cobb. I really don't need both you and Harold Cole. I really feel bad about Harold Cole. I mean, I could make him a designated hitter, but remember we tried that last season and it flopped? And it flopped really hard. I'm going to start him in AAA. I want to see if he can figure out whatever mental block is keeping him from hitting effectively. And then we'll keep the middle infielders we got. I have a crap ton of outfielders. Vanderplug, you are starting the season in the minors. Jeremy De La Rosa, you have nothing to offer. What's the final roster? Is it 26 or 28? It's 26, right? Yeah, it's 26. Kieran Dongo, go to the minors, and then I'm not carrying 6 outfielders. I'm just not. So this is really going to come down for me to 2 players. Do I keep Clark or do I keep Tawa? And here's the difference. Clark can't play any position other than designated hitter or right field. I'm sorry, Clark. You're on the outside looking in, my dude. It just is what it is. I like your power. I really do. And there's something to be said for you having learned everything there is to learn in AAA. I'm just at a point where I don't have an obvious spot to play you. And I don't want to bench any of these infielders because I want to make sure we've got people that can cycle in and cycle out. So you are the odd man out, Mr. Clark. But I'm sure you'll be back in the majors relatively soon. Let us advance, dear friends, to opening day. And then we shall assemble the World Championship roster of our dreams. Or possibly nightmares. You want me to win another World Series? I don't have a top 100 prospect. Meh. I mean, it's not likely to happen again. Maybe ever. Oh shit. Andy Neal is the number 7 prospect. Nice. Makes you feel really good. That's heartening, as they say. And remember, I picked him in the 4th round. So that's pretty solid, right? Right. I want to check the free agent market and see if there is someone who might be willing to be a starter for a year. I'm just looking for 1 year. And I'm probably not going to find it. There you go, filter. Don't even talk to me if your current movement isn't at least 50. Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry, I tried to get my hand up in time to prevent that, but it didn't happen. I'll give Billy Cabrera a minor league contract. I'm not going to give him a major league one. Alright, so there's really nothing here. That's fine. The trade block, I'm sure, is full of interesting players that I could choose if I wanted to. Let us set up the roster, my dear friends. Okay. Pitching potential. That's not what I want. I want ratings. The ace is Edwin Diaz. Just kidding. Oh, Jack. You know you will always be the starter of my heart. The second starter is probably going to be Hendricks. Then Puree. I do need 2 more starters. That does present a bit of an issue. Especially since I only have 1 other lefty. I do have... No, Cabarcas should be a reliever. And Luke Little should be a starter. Because here's the thing. What do starters usually lose? Stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn you into a reliever. Set position to reliever. Because you're going to be my lefty get-her-out guy. And then, Mr. Little, you're going to be a starting pitcher. And then, it's either going to be Mike Reese, Max Meyer, or Jocelyn De La Cruz. Yasel as a starter would be an interesting experiment. And I really just need a 5th starter until Syndergaard is healthy enough to return. Max Meyer is probably the best overall choice. I guess it does have to be Meyer, doesn't it? Meyer is the best. He is the best choice of those that are available to us. Alright, Edwin Diaz. You're going to be the closer, dude. Let us look only at... let me just quickly flag Meyer as a starter just so that he doesn't... Oh, no, it did change him. Neat. Yeah, I know he's not, like... Neither of these guys are legendary starters, but I'm only asking for a handful of innings until Syndergaard comes back. I do need to get some starting depth, and I'll have to probably do a bit of research on that point. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, Reese, you never developed a third pitch, and that's going to doom you as a starter. Otherwise, I would very seriously consider it. But I will make you a long reliever. So I'll make you an emergency starter first, and then a long reliever. And then Yasel De La Cruz is going to be a long reliever and then a starter. I think that's a good use of our time. I like that I got you for cheap. I don't like that you apparently seem to have serious problems in my ballpark. But maybe if I just have you pitch garbage low leverage innings for now, that later on you will improve and earn the spot which you have been given. All right, Karbakis, you are my lefty specialist. Can I look, please, only at the relievers? Thanks, mate. Clace is the obvious choice to be the #1 setup man. And then Joe Sprake maybe at #2. And then a pair of just generic utility middle relievers. I think this will work out well. I think Reese's future is actually going to be more of a front end of the bullpen type. Like, he could be a closer at some point. That's how much I believe in him. But I think that time is probably going to be coming much later on. Like, when after Edwin Diaz's contract is up, then we can look at that possibility. All right, pitching staff done. Lineups. Clear them all. Depth charts. Clear them all. Alright. I'm only interested in the batters. Daniel Cabrera is still clearly the best choice to be the #3 hitter. So we'll do that. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? Nah. I was going to say, I'll actually leave this to you guys to tell me in the comments what you'd like to see. Real life MLB, they've adopted the DH for the National League. And I know a lot of people are like, grumble, grumble, grumble. There shouldn't be a DH in the National League, whatever. The question is, do we do it in the game? So go ahead and you can share your thoughts. I probably won't do anything with it anytime soon, but it is something I'm kind of thinking about in the future. Now, who is the cleanup hitter? I think it's got to be Austin Hendrick. He's the best power hitter on the team. So we're going to go ahead and slide him in as cleanup. And I want to let Mountcastle earn his way back into the higher lineup, so I'm just going to have him bat 6th for now. All right. So who leads off and who hits second? And here's our issue. Daniel Corona Jr. and Luis Garcia have almost identical skill sets, with Luis Garcia having slightly better plate discipline, ever so slightly. And Adley Rushman is going to bat 5th. Judson Fabian, you're the DH. And you're going to bat 7th, I think. Or maybe 2nd. Because here's the thing. You have a tremendous batting eye. And I don't want to waste that by burying you deep in the roster. So maybe Luis Garcia leads off. And Fabian hits 2nd, which lets me put Daniel Corona Jr. hitting 7th. which I don't mind at all because let's be frank, he didn't show an ability to get on base last season, which leaves Witt and Vasquez, and I think I'd like Vasquez to hit 8th, and then Bobby Witt Jr. will be hitting 9th. And this is an incredibly formidable lineup that really just lacks that elite level leadoff guy. And that makes sense to you guys. It lacks that leadoff guy that makes the entire rest of the lineup run. No, I think Luis Garcia could potentially be that guy. 348's not great for a leadoff guy, but I'm certainly not going to question it. Especially when he also hits for a decent amount of power. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and keep this lineup. And we're used against lefties too. And then I want to go ahead and generate our depth chart and see what the AI thinks. I'm comfortable with this. I'm actually very comfortable with this. And what about here? Beautiful. Is Max Meyer a very good hitter? He's not. I'm taking you off of two-way duties. You're a starting pitcher now. You should not be hitting as a two-way player. I need you to be a full-time pitcher. And then we can work out the rest later on. Now here's a problem, Mr. Vasquez. Mike van der Ploeg is hot on your heels. And I completely forgot about him because he was injured. But this is a guy with a pretty sterling pedigree. So you have to kind of impress over these first couple months of the season. I believe in you. And I think it's your... Look, let me explain a little bit why I am making this particular decision. Because it's not obvious, apart from the injury, which I guess makes it extremely obvious. But let us compare Vasquez and van der Ploeg. It's always been hard for me to get that umlaut from German to sound correct. Hopefully I'm not offending any of my viewers who might be German. I don't think you are, but maybe you are. Here's the big difference, right? It's the gap power. And as we've seen, a really good gap power center fielder or gap power hitter can be elite. And I have to just say that... Plus, look at this crap. Van der Ploeg can't really handle left-handed pitching at all. Yikes. He's a really good base runner, though. So, I mean... look, there's reasons to go for either or. But I think at the end of the day... I think Mr. Vasquez is the better choice right now. Maybe it'll change. Because here's the thing. Just as clearly as Vasquez is the better hitter, van der Ploeg is very clearly the better fielder. Well, I mean, maybe. So it's interesting. And it's a good problem to have, right? It's a good problem to have two talented center fielders with a third just kind of hanging out in Mr. Tawa. I know he's going to be a little bit peeved that he is not in the starting lineup, but he's going to have to live with that because his skill set is not one that we desperately need. I don't need another power-hitting outfielder who plays defense pretty well. I've got like 4 of them. I've got Fabian, I've got Hendrick, I've got Cabrera, all of whom basically have the same skill set, but are actually better than Tawa. I really hope, Hendrick has me nervous. It's the Anthony Garcia problem, right? Where we get an outfielder who has a great year and then has a second great year and then falls apart in year 3. And it's always because they stop making regular contact. So I'm nervous about Hendrick. I'm even more nervous about Judson Fabian, though. Because in a full year of Major League plate appearances, he played pretty poorly. And a lot was expected of him. And I'm not getting it. It's like, that's a pretty good power average. Like, he clearly hit for power, but he just wasn't making enough contact. And he wasn't drawing enough walks when he wasn't. So we'll just have to see what happens this season. But I've got enough other interesting outfielders in the minors that anyone besides Daniel Cabrera right now is on borrowed time. And the sooner that they perform at their max capabilities, the better. Daniel Corona Jr., I don't know what to do about you. Look, if you're hitting 300, you are a steal at $19 million a year. If you're hitting 267, you're a giant ripoff. Because, well, maybe not a giant ripoff. You do always hit for power, which is an underrated skill from a shortstop who happens to be pretty darn good at that, too. I don't know. Am I being silly? Should I just give him his extension? He wants a great deal less money now. Like, a lot less money. Oh, sorry. I need to reduce your contract ever so slightly. There we go. I'm actually okay with this. Damn it, really? Dude, you know it's because I can't give you a big contract next year. It's the only reason I didn't sign it. Okay, he'll take this offer. His contract's not going to be a millstone anytime soon. I don't think. Yes. This also frees up money for extension. So I could think about extending Hendrick, maybe? Or Hendricks? You want a suspiciously low arbitration amount, but I'm not going to question it. No, meh. I'll have enough money to make sure that you get paid. That's a good deal, I think, for Corona Jr. And then frees him up some money for me to consider pursuing other players. Emmanuel Clace has kind of been a bust, if I'm honest with you. We spent a lot of money on this dude, and while he's been productive, he hasn't been what I hoped he had been, which would be an extremely reliable bridge to Edwin Diaz. But, you know, it is what it is. This is the next ticking time bomb in terms of contract. What do I do with Adley Rutschman? Like, he's clearly an outstanding player. There's no obvious hole in his game. Even when he hit for a low average, the rest of his game was so bloody good that he carried it. That's fine. And the question is, look, if I keep paying $16 million for another 4 or 5 years, that's reasonable to me. It's hard to argue that a catcher would be a better value than Adley Rutschman. 30 WAR in only, what is it, 6 seasons? That's pretty good. 200 homers in only 6 seasons. 830 hits. Yeah. I guess there's Garcia to worry about too. And I wish I could tell you for sure that I'm definitely concerned about him, but I'm really not. Because of Harold Cole, who is maybe 80% the player at 10% the cost. So we'll see if he opts out. He might. He really might. Which is going to have some awkward conversations to have in the offseason that season. But, meh. Oh, I'm getting tired. I should probably end the episode. I just want to bask in the glory of the trade that brought me Luis Garcia, though. Because that was one of my first trades I made with the Orioles, and I remember thinking I'd really gone out on a limb, and it turned out to be just a brilliant trade. Like, okay, Tim Cate has actually had a pretty decent career. I kind of wish I hadn't traded him. But I didn't know how he'd turn out. So you know what, that one's on me. I will take ownership of that. Roismar Quintana is another one of those outfielders that has been... I'm almost churning these things off of an assembly line. And he turned into Vanderplug, so maybe there's more to be had there. It was just, it was a really good trade. A very good trade. I mean, Drew Ward never amounted to much. Looks like he had a good season here for Pittsburgh. But beyond that, I mean, I had no compunctions about letting him take a walk on the wild side. And who did Tim Cate turn into? Okay, maybe, you know what, maybe this trade didn't turn out so hot. I got 3 pretty mediocre dudes. And I think Cate's problem is he improved his... I think he improved his movement. Movement was always good. What was his issue with me? Well, just he didn't throw enough strikes? Maybe that was it. Oh well. You can't win every trade. Even though I wish I had Tim Cate right now. We are very front-loaded in the rotation, which is cause for concern. And there's not a huge amount of help on the way either. Well, there's interesting pitchers, but they're all deeply flawed in some way. Tim Stack is a one-pitch pitcher right now with 3 mediocre pitches. He has not reached his potential yet. That said, he is surprisingly well advanced. And I think he is on a pretty quick track to the majors. Andy Neal, you gotta throw strikes. If you start throwing strikes consistently, I'll bring you up to the majors tomorrow. But I just need to see you bring down the strike, the walk rate. And here's what's really troubling to me, the fact that it hasn't dropped. Like, the more he pitches, the more he allows walks. He also hasn't had a huge amount of time at any one level. He's been pushed along kind of quickly. which may account for the fact he just hasn't had a chance to develop control because he just hasn't sat with one pitching coach and worked with them and developed his strategy, and that's understandable. Um, but yeah, there is not a lot of reinforcements in the minors as far as starting pitchers go. Man, Mike Keith. Like, I know that sometimes first round draft picks flop, but I did not expect him to flop this bad. He just cannot throw strikes to save his life. Which is really a shame because his other skills are pretty doggone good. But I mean, if you can't throw strikes, then you're never going to be successful. So, oh well. Let us close and let's just remind ourselves of our drafts and what's gone well and what hasn't gone well. I always think that's kind of a fun thing to do when finishing up an off season. Emerson Hancock is arguably the second best first round pick we've ever had. That can change at some point in the future, but when Hancock was right, he was truly exceptional. His problem was he kept getting injured and he wasn't right very often. Ty Floyd never made the majors. I do feel kind of bad for him. I kind of hoped we'd got more out of it, but meh. Harold Cole has been a valued contributor in the past, maybe so again. Casey Schmidt has been a useful relief pitcher. And no one else from this draft is even in the majors, I don't think. Yeah, some of them have retired. Some are just kind of stuck in the minors. That's fine. Dan Corona Jr. is the best third-round draft pick we've had. But again, a lot more people retired. Just a lot of players that aren't that exciting. What a 1-2 punch, right? Jack Leiter and Brandon Hendricks. The only weakness of Brandon Hendricks has been the fact he tends to get injured. If he had stayed healthy, I think he would compete for value. Drew Jones was always a bit of a project. And look, I don't know if he'll ever make the majors, but Cobb has. Calvert Clark has a potential role on the Baltimore Orioles of the future. We just don't know. So yeah, there were some good picks in this draft. Dotson, well, Bobby Witt Jr. ended up happening. This was not an impressive draft. Samson might still make something of himself someday. Rest of the players here, meh. Mike Keith was a big oof. Herrera might still be good. We've got some chances to see Herrera become truly great. Nice is good. Dwyer is decent. Neal is very good. Pretty good draft for pitching. Danny Lopez is already out of baseball. Isn't he the one that decided he's going to play basketball? No, football. That's right. Josh Roberts still has loads of potential, but he could still reach it. You know what? He could still reach it. Are you set for me to take control? Yes. We'll see how he does. I remember your issue. My dude, I'm gonna ask you to do me a big favor. Stop pitching. You're much too good a hitter for me to let you pitch anymore. Like, you could be a legit all-star level first baseman. So let's make sure that you get that chance and that you're given the appropriate amount of attention. John Brown's kind of a flop. Was he ever better than that, or was this one of those years where I was just kind of screwed? Yeah, he used to be better. It looks like they don't think he's going to throw enough strikes, which is really bad. He throws hard, but yeah, it's not good to be a person who doesn't throw very many strikes. Brendan Hirschauer should be a really good reliever. And I guess that's our biggest issue, right? That is the biggest issue with our player development so far, is we've had a lot of starters who want starters that are actually relievers, despite the ability to throw lots of innings, because they don't have a third pitch, or because they don't throw for enough strikes, or what have you. So we've been overly reliant on one or two starters, apart from Jack Leiter, who we're always reliant on. Yeah, this is just... Yeah. I love it so much. Like, he could literally win 100 games before he turns 30, which is kind of tricky to do these days. He's already approaching 2,000 strikeouts, isn't he? Yeah, he won't get there this year or the next year, but in about 3 years' time, he's going to have about 2,000 Ks. Jack Leiter. Jack Leiter. Jack Leiter. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. I know this episode ran a little bit longer, but I hope you enjoyed the discussions and the thoughts that I was having. Please do feel free to like the video if you haven't done so already. Comment down below, particularly if you want to see me add the DH to the National League. I know that'll probably prompt some interesting discussions, and that's fine. I'm asking purely from a gameplay standpoint if it's something that's worth thinking about, since they do it in Major League Baseball. But until next time, this has been Avindian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.